Well, Mr. Bob Richards, how are you doing today?
I am great, Michael. Thank you for asking.
Good to see you again. We want to welcome everybody to your show. Let's Get Real, the real estate podcast that tells everybody what's really going on in the real estate market, especially in Southern Utah, and everything they need to know to buy or sell their home quickly and easily. And so we all have a great place to live. Is that about it?
That's about it. That's a wrap.
That
Yeah,
is a wrap.
you've got the full description down as
That's
to
it.
what my job is. So
We,
I love to help.
I do want to remind everybody that your Let's Get Real podcast is available on YouTube. All of
Yeah,
the podcasts are there, and they're also available on your website, which is byutah.com. Is that
that's
true?
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I understand that, believe it or not, in the United States of America, where we live, that sometimes the economy and the markets actually change. Is that true?
You know what that is? If there's anything that's consistent, it's change.
So, why don't you tell us what's going on with the current state of the real estate market?
I'm going to get, thank you, Michael. And I'm going to give kind of an overview of things. And again, as I always say, let's get it real. So let's dive into where we're at in a national setting with our current politics, our nation having a potential change, or new administration, obviously either on Republican side or Democratic side. I've been through 8 administrations in my career of 33 plus years. I've seen behaviors of the government based upon who has been in office, depending upon Democrat or Republican. And as I've studied, I'm no political science major. My main major was in marketing, but just in observation of what these two parties go towards and lean towards, there's some changes in the market that could affect interest rates, the economy, your ability to buy or sell a house for a fair price, and what might be your future in the real estate market as time goes along, again, depending upon who is in the White House. Now, again, I don't have a 8 ball here in front of me. I don't have a crystal ball with new Energizer batteries in it. This is all my own personal research. I feel very confident in sharing it with you and have proof that if anybody wanted to know, well, how did you come up with this? I'd be more than glad to share.
Yeah.
So let me kind of give you that information. Um, Similarities. So we have an economy, we have trade, both in within states and throughout the country, but also throughout the world. How will this economy change from one to the other, depending upon who's in the White House? Well, if there's a Democratic Party that is in the White House for this upcoming 4 years, you will expect to see and know that you'll see as I'm telling you this, interest rates will rise. Now they've come down a whopping what quarter point, 2/3 of a point,
Yeah.
and they say, oh, rates have dropped 10 years lower from what, and I'm just like, okay, really? I mean, you've been close to 7, you're now 6.232518. That's not a significant drop. In order for the economy to change and stimulate in the housing industry, the real estate mortgage interest needs to be a point to a point and a half. So we're talking 5.5% before anybody really gets into the market that's
Wow.
currently out of it and saying, I don't want to get back in unless we're in the fives. Now, you're not going to see twos and threes and fours ever, ever in our lifetime. I'm sorry, folks, but it ain't happening. So don't wait if that's your position or your stance. It's not going to happen. So buy now because again, Democratic Party, the rates will go up. We'll be in the sevens next year. You'll be in the eights
Ooh,
by 2026. That's a lot. And
wait,
and, and now we're griping and groaning over, 6.5, 6 3/4. It gets worse.
the eights.
Now,
Ooh, that'll be tough.
yeah. So the Republican Party,
Okay.
they are looking for more of an economic growth and asking and saying, okay, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Answer has been no. You're not better off. You're paying more for so many things, and you're going to be paying more, even more, if the election goes towards the Democratic side. Republican side is going to be bringing in new trade, new regulations, new economy, new forms of business, dropping interest rates, and also to drop tax fees and surcharge. There's just a significant mentality from the right and the left. And
Yeah.
so if you see that take place and see a Republican Party, then you're going to see more stability, more healthy growth in the economy, and just a better, tighter, well behaved nation, and that's currently in such a chaos and such a uh, who to believe, and there's so much noise out there, Michael. Yeah,
Yeah.
my noise is coming on right now, but I have strict confidence in the ability and competence in what I'm sharing to be very accurate in what I'm letting people know about in this podcast today.
Well, I think your assessment is very accurate, having been in the market for 33 years and gone through 8 federal government administrations. I think that you've got a good perception, a good take on what the possibilities are. So I just want to restate. One side on the left would be higher interest rates, higher prices, and for everything, real estate, consumer prices, and more regulations, et cetera, et cetera. The other side on the right would be lower interest rates, lower prices, a more stable economy. Let me think about this.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, sounds
yeah,
pretty,
yeah,
simple decision.
yeah. I think that is a simple decision, but yeah, you folks use your best judgment and
Absolutely right.
do what you feel is the right thing. And if you're doing the wrong thing, we'll just tell you.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, because we've been to the Sammy Hagar concert and we know what's going on.
Absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
exactly right. Um, Tell me a little bit more about interest rates. I understand that they did drop a tiny little bit in the past couple, 3 days or so.
They have. They've gone from this, like I say, this upper sixes now to lower sixes, and the federal government is saying, "Look at what we're doing for you, Mr. and Mrs. Consumer. Look at what we're doing to help you with your housing. Look at what we're doing to help you lower your payments." Payments from about 6.75 to six and a quarter. That's about a half a point, even down to six and an eighth. You look at the difference in what you're paying per month, it's not that much of a
Yeah.
difference. There's no significant impact there that says, "Oh, I am going to be better off from six and three quarters down to six and an eighth or six and a quarter." That's really going to make a change or an impact on my budget, on my ability to buy something maybe a little bit bigger or whatever it might be. There's just not that much room that's really helping the economy. The other thing is inflation too, Michael.
Yeah.
The feds, now this is not the federal government, the feds who operate our monetary system, they don't know what they're doing. They simply don't. They're chasing inflation, wondering, okay, let's try this. It's almost like pin the tail on the donkey. They're saying, well, let's pin it here. Well, oh, that didn't work. Well, let's pin it over here. That didn't work. They don't have a clue how to control inflation. Sad because it's affecting millions of people here in the United States who's waiting upon them to come up with an answer, strategy, implement, and success. They're not even to strategy. They just don't know how to handle this. It's sad, but there needs to be a change within the Fed, no matter who gets in the White House, because that is a significant impact. Now, let me tell you this: the folks on the board of the Fed are your Fortune 100 business owners. We're talking
Oh,
corporate owners such as, for instance, Home Depot or GE or Union Pacific or some of these other Microsoft. It goes on and on. So what they're saying is that, hey, we don't care about inflation because it gives us more money to our stock value. That way, our shareholders make more money, and to heck with everybody else. Well, the golden parachutes of that board of directors member and the people down below, that gets extremely golden and
Yeah.
extremely profitable for them as they get into a time where they eventually retire. Does it trickle down to you and I, Michael? No, it doesn't.
So you're telling me that they're only in it for the money and they really don't like us? Is that what I'm hearing?
You know what? They
Oh,
don't have
I'm
our
shocked.
best interest at heart. If they took a ma and pa board of director in there, if they had somebody that was entrepreneurial, if there was somebody that's in their first startup, if there's somebody that's a little bit more experienced after 10 or 15, 30 years
Yeah,
that is saying, hey, folks, come down to help normal John Q. public. And that would, I think, make a significant difference because it would be seen through different eyes rather than the profitability of a stock.
right. So how do we make a motion to get you elected to the board of directors for the
You
Fed?
know what? I'd love it. I absolutely would. It's not going to happen. I don't have that kind of clout or experience. I don't have that kind of a lobby that is picking these people. And it is unfortunately almost a closed door system. And it really
Wow.
is difficult to make any sort of changes or inroad unless a board of directors member pulls out. And if they do, they're typically assigning somebody else within their company to take their place.
So what we need is all the tens and hundreds of thousands and millions of people listening to your podcast to do a write-in vote to appoint Bob Richards to a member of the Fed. Is that what we need to do?
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
we're going
And
to
that's
do
in
that.
jest, folks. That is in jest. Do not try to do such a thing because it really doesn't exist.
I
People
know
will be
it's a
like,
good
who?
idea.
What
Here's
about
a good.
Bob?
Yeah, what about Bob? I could see them, the chairman. Who's this Bob guy?
Exactly.
Why do we have a hundred
Exactly.
thousand letters that want Bob in here?
Right. Right.
Oh, I think that's great. So basically, so in your opinion, is one party or the other with this upcoming election going to be better for inflation, to curb inflation, to get it more manageable?
My wife is a stylist, and she says you don't talk about religion, about sex, or politics when you're doing hair at a salon. Okay, well, I'm going to talk about politics anyway, folks.
Okay.
And yes, I will say that the right has a greater impact for good in your economic future, hands down. There's nothing about that. You can talk about what you feel about a certain individual running for president on the right, how he shouldn't open his mouth, etc. But the guy gets things done. He works, he negotiates, he handles things. He's able to make changes, and he's able to have the authority where people listen. And these heads of nations and countries are like, okay, I'll get off the stick. We've had it pretty easy for the last 4 years. Now you're going to kind of put the finger on us, and he's like, "Yeah, I am because you're taking advantage of our nation and our costs and our tariffs, etc." So that is going to be a significant difference if you lean to the right. If you lean to the left, it's more government, higher taxes, less economic growth, and more reliance upon what the government has to do, and especially, folks, what it has to say. And that will trickle down immediately to your pocket and to your family's pocket and your family's well-being financially and economically. Hands down, that is the case,
Wow.
period.
So let me ponder this. Tough decision. More money,
Mm,
less money, more regulation, less
yeah,
regulation. Yeah, well, for me, the choice is clear. But
yeah,
I'm glad that you explained that to us today. It would be helpful if you would remind me again about the different types of interest rates that we have, even though I know rates are kind of, cattywampus, right?
yeah. Interest rates is a broad few words.
Yeah.
There's a variety of different rates that are there. There's short-term rates, there's long-term rates, there's for instance, automobile short-term rates for like a travel trailer, a car, a truck, anything that's mobile. And imagine if the rates went down on those, Guess what would happen in the automobile industry? Wow, what a huge change that would be because people would be driving around newer cars,
Right.
trucks and otherwise. Then you have credit card interest rates. Now those are 20, 22, 24% rate for your credit card. Now, is that going to come down very much? A little, but they're regulated still by the companies that they are working for. Citibank, Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Zions, State Bank, whoever that's offering that credit card, they control their own rates. It will come down a little bit, but not significant. You have mortgage rates, which is also separate from all of the other interest rates as well. So if they say interest rates have come down, you have to look and see which rate is that. Is that a long-term mortgage-based interest rate, or is it a short-term 5-year less, 3-year less that would affect more of the trucks, automobile, short-term rates? Something that would be a line of credit. That's another good one. Line of credit or a HELOC, a home equity line. Those rates would come down if it is a short-term rate. So again, folks, interest rates going down does not mean always that your mortgage rate is going to go down. It could
Oh,
be a entirely different rate
that's interesting.
category. Yeah.
In terms of mortgage interest rates, do we still have like adjustable rate loans and things like that in the market?
Yes, there are. And there are some good products that way where you can start at a lower rate. It increases after 1, 2, or 3 years, but has a ceiling on it, meaning that it can't go above a certain rate. So let's say you start at 5.75. You're there for year one, year two. The year two, it bumps up to say 5.85. And then year three, it's at 6% for the rest of that loan because the ceiling on it was 6%. So it will adjust downward or could adjust downward,
Yeah.
but it won't go above 6 for the remaining 27 years of your mortgage. That's not so bad. The
No,
challenge is for folks is if they're
yeah.
looking at the 1 to 3 years and saying, well, if it does adjust, we can't afford to pay the mortgage payment. Well, folks, then get into a budget that will allow you
Right.
to acquire a home. And if there's a rainy day fund or a little bit extra that you can put away for those adjustable rate issues or for Johnny's football uniform, whatever it might be, make sure that you sock some of that money away so that you're able to continue to make your payments if that does adjust.
That's really good. That's good news to know. In the olden days, when I was living in another state near an ocean with a lot of beach sand and stuff,
Starts with a C.
starts with the C.
Mhm.
Um, I bought a couple of homes on on an adjustable interest rate mortgage. I think one was tied to the LIBOR index and one
Uh,
was tied to some other federal index. But this was back when interest rates were, remember, Bob, when interest rates are like 18% and
I do.
11%. And so I got in on an adjustable loan. I think I got in, it was like 6%. We were all
Mhm.
excited. Woohoo, 6%. Now everybody's complaining. So, and they explain it can go up, but it can also go down, but there's a maximum. It can go up or down either way.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we're in that place for, I think, about 5 years. And I'm telling you that the interest rate went down every year and it went down the maximum it could go. So for me, it was really good to get in. I've done that twice. I've never been hurt by escalating interest rates. I've always benefited because the rate has gone down. And then we ended up selling the house, which made it easier for someone else to buy it. But I don't have a problem with adjustable rate mortgages at all. You got to pay a little extra, PMI or anything like that, or is it depend?
Correct. Yeah. So there's a little extra fee to acquire that, but it's still worth it. What the rule is on adjustable rates, folks, is that if you are planning on being in the home 5 years or less, go with an adjustable rate. If you're going to be in the home 5 years or more, go with a fixed rate
Mhm.
because your amount of fees and payments and so forth that you will be making with the adjustable rate will still be less than if you were to go with a fixed rate from year one to year five. Adjustable rate from year one to or excuse me, year one to year five will save you thousands and thousands of dollars if you go the adjustable rate route.
Yeah, that's what we did, and it worked out great. Well, Bob, I understand you have another beautiful listing that you would like to showcase for us. Is
I
that
do, I do. I have got this crystal clear, clean, spotless home that is over on the west side of St. George in a subdivision called the Highlands. The Highlands is just off of Dixie Drive, a little bit further south of the Sunbrook Golf Course, where you can just be like 2 minutes to the clubhouse to sign up and go play. This is a main level and a basement. Is the newest home in the Highlands. It is absolutely gorgeous inside and out. It has a main level and a basement to it. The total square footage is 4,435, and it has 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. And of the 5 bathrooms, all of those have an ensuite to that bedroom with the exception of one. And that's in the basement. There's a bedroom that's to the right of the bathroom, and then also an entrance out into the large great room. One of the things that's nice about this home, Michael, is that you got 10-foot ceilings in the basement. Tell me how many
really?
times you find that. Yeah, so you don't feel like that you're crunched down. It's just as open and lovely and enjoyable on the main floor as it is in the basement. And this has all of the bells and whistles that you would expect. The flooring is not laminate. This is real tile with a wood finish. It's going to last forever, practically, and it's certainly far longer than LVP. The quartz countertops, actually, these aren't quartz; these are a different style or material that is used, and it is gorgeous. The slabs on these are just amazing. Master bedroom is tip top, just good, well, oversized, quite frankly, with its own bathroom, a massive walk-in closet. If you were to sit in that garden tub, I don't think you'd want to get out. I think you'd just continue to put more hot water in there, stay a little longer, stay a little longer. They just recently put in some palm trees in the backyard and a little bit more landscaping there. Very, very beautiful. It's got great size, perfect for entertaining on the main level and the basement. Big deck on the main level too. And so, folks, this is something that you could use for a great entertainment home. It's in a cul-de-sac. Your kids can drive around in the cul-de-sac there on their bikes. You don't have to worry about them getting hit, and it's just a great value. We're at 1.199 on this home, and again, turnkey, move in. I mean, there is not a speck of dust. I promise you, when you go through this house, you'll be hard pressed to find one. RV garage that you can see. It's
Yeah.
basically a boat garage on the right hand side, about 35 feet in depth. And yeah, it just sparkles and shines. And so certainly would recommend this for people. It's located on 1199, excuse me, 2021 West, 730 South Circle. There we go. 2021 West, 730 South Circle in St. George.
That's a beautiful, beautiful home. I really like that. That was
Thank
absolutely
you
fabulous. Absolutely
very
fabulous.
much so.
So, Mr. Bob, before we go, do you have any other exciting things to share with us before we head on down the road?
Thanks, Michael. First of all, folks, you can reach me at 435-703 Utah. That's my cell phone. You can call me, you can text me. Again, 435-703 Utah. Buyutah.com is my website. That's B as in boy, UYUTAH.com. We're getting thousands of hits every month. Excited to have people take a look at our inventory, look at our website, ask for more information. And again, folks, based upon what I've shared with you today, no offense to either side, and please don't take offense, but just understand this is where we're headed. You do have a vote. You can make a difference, but this is where we're headed. You choose which way that is and live with that decision.
Bob, thank you so much. Another great podcast with a wealth of information today. We do want to remind you that if you'd like any more information, you can visit Bob at his website, which is buyutah.com. And Bob, what's your phone number again? I don't have it quite memorized.
Yeah, 435-703-8824. Again, I'm at Berkshire Hathaway. We're in Ancestor Square, downtown St. George, right next to the Painted Pony restaurant.
Great. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys again next time with another edition of Let's Get Real.